there could be a quarterback controversy in San Francisco after Jimmy G and the 49ers are off to a 2-4 start. Jimmy G hasn't necessarily played bad, but he hasn't really played too well, disappointingly for me. And they drafted Trey Lance third overall. Anytime there's a young quarterback, there's always going to be calls for possibly him to step up into that situation. We saw him start a game, and he showed some poise. Again, good thing for a young quarterback. But what do you guys think of this? Given where the 49ers are, given that they played relatively well, their defense has. Do you think it's time to make the switch to Trey Lance full time? Joe, why don't you go?
At some point, you got to. I mean, it goes back to that Miami situation that I mentioned in our previous topic. Just let the man play. Either let him play or don't let him play. It's because they have this whole thing where sometimes both of them play in the same game. So that you're never going to really build a chemistry with one unit that way. And it's just sloppy by Kyle Shanahan and them. I think it's about time that they make a change there. And they really need to look at replacing Shanahan and maybe, I don't know, at some point trading Jimmy G and just giving Trey Lance a chance because they drafted him third overall. Don't waste that draft spot. Don't let him turn into another one of these top 5 busts. It's going to be such a waste. They have a generational talent in Bosa on defense. So they're always going to be competent on defense, but this it's strange, man. You don't really see that too often. Such a great defensive team be so bad offensively. It's like the exact it's like I can't even put it into words, man. They just need to look at Kyle Shanahan, who's been having a poor go at things ever since he's been in San Francisco. That Super Bowl in Atlanta when they choked really, I think, changed that man. And he's starting to bring, again, the word of the night, culture. The word of the night is culture. And he's bringing this choking type of culture to the 49ers. And, I think Jimmy G is still a formidable quarterback. He's throwing 1,000 yards, 65% completion. It's not terrible, but, the efficiency is not there. He's not putting up points. And you can't blame him when you have 2 guys playing at once, and Trey Lance isn't going to live up to his potential, knowing that he'll get benched after 2-3 drives. So give one guy a full chance. In my opinion, give Trey Lance the chance at this point because Jimmy G is starting to look like an injury-prone guy. Just move on from this and fire Shanahan at some point too. That's the real 49ers QB situation, in my opinion.
Interesting. Brooks, what about you? What do you think?
Man, I mean, Pedro just said it. You got to give one of these guys a chance. All you're doing is really just hurting both guys' confidence. All you're doing is really sowing seeds of doubt and seeds of disconfidence in each other. Like, you got to, if you're going to pick one and do that as soon as possible because you don't want to ruin both your quarterbacks so early into the season. I mean, and I feel bad for Jimmy G, man, because at one point Jimmy G was supposed to be the one after Tom Brady. Tom Brady ends up politicking. Man. He ends up getting rid of his backup quarterback because he doesn't like that pressure on him. Jimmy G's a 49er now. He's into a Super Bowl. We're all thinking, wow, this guy, maybe the Patriots should have kept him. And he ends up choking in the playoffs. He ends up, completely missing on somebody for a potential game-winning touchdown. I mean, and ever since then, he's been playing scary, and he hasn't scary. What's the saying? Scary money don't make any money. Jimmy G is beginning to personify that for real. And I liked him. I want him to do well, but it doesn't seem like he's a solution for this team. It doesn't seem like he's playing all the way confident in himself like we all thought he could be. Because at one point, again, he's supposed to be the successor to Tom Brady, and now he's kind of just on the wayside. I think Trey Lance is obviously maybe the more naturally talented guy, but is he fully ready to make an NFL transition and be that full-time starter? I don't know. He only played, he played a full season, and he played 13 games in his whole career as a college quarterback. It's a lot of raw material to work with. And I think he's going to have a great career if he ends up developing right. I don't know if Kyle Shanahan has got to do that,
Mm.
But yeah, Trey Lance definitely has a lot to prove, and I think he can be a good guy. I think he should be the starter moving forward, and Jimmy G just needs to cut his losses and go somewhere else.
Yeah. So I agree with a lot of what both of you just said. I'm gonna start with kind of like I guess a little bit of a anecdote or a comparison. In 2018, when the Ravens drafted Lamar Jackson, I think they were kind of in a very similar situation. Like they had a quarterback in Joe Flacco, who, much like Jimmy G, could start games. Yes, like he can start games. He can, be efficient at times. He can get through. He can get you to win sometimes. But at the time, was he more towards the ascent of his career or the descent? In Flacco's case, it was the descent, and in I think Jimmy G's case, I think he's on a decline as well right now, considering the way he's just been playing, and it can be for a variety of reasons. But at the end of the day, this is a results-driven business. If you don't get it done, you're going to be done. That's the cutthroat nature of football. And you don't, I said this before and I'll say it again. You don't spend a first round pick on a guy. You don't trade for a guy, all that stuff. If you're not planning on starting him eventually, if the situation arises, they are 2-4. They're not necessarily playing bad football. This is actually a very competitive 2-4 football team. Their defense really keeps them in games. The lack of running game has not helped them. I think Trey Lance can help with that. I think he has tremendous upside. The guy I compared him to when he was coming out, and a lot of people kind of looked at me weird. I compared him to Josh Allen when he was coming out. A guy who small state, small school, a lot of raw ability, a lot of intangibles, leadership qualities. A guy who, at the end of the day, he will study the game and get it done and get what needs to be done, and he will will your team to victory. That is what I see in Trey Lance. The upside in him is superstar potential. And is Kyle Shanahan the quarterback or the guru, the coach to make that happen? I don't know. Because I don't know, what Kyle Shanahan, can do with a young quarterback and molding him like that. But what I do know is that Kyle Shanahan has had a lot of seasons where it's just kind of he's gotten a pass for bad records. And it's a lot to do with Jimmy G getting injured, but at some time he's got to realize that my job isn't going to be safe forever. I think this week he's got to really understand that and take that seriously. He's got to pull the trigger, put Trey Lance in, potentially save your job, and potentially save your season. Because again, this is not a team that's playing bad football. They are competitive in a lot of games. It's just their offense and the way it's working. It's just a hindrance a lot of times. And I think that Trey Lance, if you work to his strengths, if you do a lot of pistol stuff, if you throw the ball deep, which I think the receivers on this team would really love that, by the way. But if you do a lot of that stuff, I think that they can win games with Trey Lance and potentially, I'm not saying playoffs. I don't know, but who knows? Lamar Jackson came in. No, people said he should have switched positions. 6 months later, he's in the playoffs, 10-6, led them to a 6-1 record as a starting quarterback as a rookie. All right, so we've seen crazier things happen in this league, but right now is the time to make the switch. You got to do it. Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.